Right, Steve.
You really care about this, don't you?
You have a look at how the president's trade policies, specifically with China, are affecting American workers and consumers.
Yeah, for sure. We're done with the sports section.
Yeah, I just moved on.
No, we're done. Okay. So we can talk about how Trump's tariffs have had already had an effect on the U.S., and it's not a particularly good one. Let's start with steel. So as we all know, Trump put tariffs on steel, and look what happened. Steel prices went up 28% since the beginning.
Wait, Steve. Who could have ever seen that coming?
You know, it was a surprise to all of us.
Oh, wait, I think everybody warned him, didn't they?
It was a surprise to all of us, and it's equally a surprise to all of us that steel in Europe is now 50% of the cost of steel here. So that's good for steel workers here. The problem is there aren't so many steel workers here. There are only about 80,000 steel workers here.
So it's good for 80,000 people. I mean, how many does it hurt, though?
The 900,000 people who work in industries that actually use steel and who are not going to be able to make it here. There was an interesting story.
So you're saying it hurts the people in the red and helps the people, the tiny amount of people in the blue.
That is the fact.
But wait, even those people in blue, don't they buy items made of steel? So isn't it hurting their paycheck also?
And they're going to pay more for all of them.
Everything. They'll pay more for everything.
Everything that has steel in it, they're going to pay more.
So everybody pays more. So really, in effect, everybody's a loser.
Well, there's probably a few of those 80,000 steel workers who will do okay. But yes, this is going to hurt everybody.
Well, maybe the people that own the steel companies might do well, but working class Americans, all working class Americans, are losers when they go to the store because of Donald Trump's tariff tax.
That is true, but now let's look at the other side of the equation. We'll see some more losers.
Who could have predicted that?
We'll see some more losers. You want some more losers? So, of course, not surprisingly, our competitors have retaliated on us, and you can take a look at what's happened to soybean prices. China put a 25% tariff, as did other countries, on soybean prices, and you can see what has happened to soybean prices.
Well, again, who could have predicted this? Wait. People have been predicting this, that soybean farmers were going to be absolutely crushed by this.
And soybeans are our #1 agricultural commodity. It may not sound like much. You may think you only eat it in soy sauce when you go to a Chinese restaurant. But in fact, it is the major feedstock for animals and our biggest agricultural export.
Well, and as Dan said in my ear, most importantly, whiskey. And of course, most importantly for Jon Meacham, of course, you think those soy lattes are expensive? Now they're really expensive, right?
If you move from the soy latte to the Jack Daniels in the course of a morning, you're going to get hit twice.
So speaking of Jack Daniels,
it's called, you know what that's called? That's called the Meacham tax. Both in the morning.
Very targeted.
And by the way, it's not a coincidence that the Chinese put tariffs on soybeans, because our biggest soybean producing states are Iowa, but also places like North Dakota, like Missouri, like Indiana, where there are Democrats running for re-election in red states, and now they're going to be able to blame Trump for what's happening to soybean prices. But you mentioned whiskey, so let's take a look at what's happened to whiskey. And the best way to look at what's happened to whiskey is a company called Brown-Forman. Brown-Forman makes Jack Daniels, as Mr. Meacham well knows. Brown-Forman's headquarters.
Well, that number also goes down, to be fair to Donald Trump. That number also goes down as far as whiskey purchases during Lent, when Meacham decides to stay off of whiskey for. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But Brown-Forman, John, has its headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky. Who is from Louisville, Kentucky? Mitch McConnell, the majority leader of the Senate. So the Chinese and the Europeans and the Mexicans who put these tariffs on whiskey are not stupid. And you can see here that Brown-Forman's stock price, as just a proxy for what's happening to our business in whiskey, is down 18%.
So you're saying Mitch McConnell coddling Donald Trump when it comes to tariffs actually is hurting people in Mitch McConnell's own district?
Very deliberate retaliation by our trading partners to stick it to Donald Trump and to stick it to Republicans.
All right.
And of course, Harley Davidson in Wisconsin, right?
Well, Harley Davidson's fascinating, because Harley Davidson was his poster boy for American jobs. And then another retaliatory tariff was to tax Harley Davidson. So now they're going to make them outside the U.S. to ship them to Europe.
Wow. And there are only so many, really, not so many, I don't mean it that way, but these are iconic American brands.
Yeah.
Right? Jack Daniels, Harley Davidson, you know, and it's a fascinating way to see how those brands get hit first.
So
Yeah.
still ahead, President Trump, thank you, Steve, rallies in North Dakota and feeds the crowd political red meat, including several unrestrained attacks on congressional Democrats. We'll have that straight ahead on Morning Joe.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.